You're watching Suck Professor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by
James.
James. Hey, James. Come in my sewer. Welcome. Are we friends? You are my friend. We will go on many adventures together. Do you want to go to Del Taco before it closes?
Welcome to our It review, everybody. It's me and James. So we're just going to do a quick spoiler-free review, but we're also doing a much longer discussion type review. We just didn't want to include spoilers and just give this one. It's just to give our quick reaction opinion about if we enjoyed seeing this movie. We both had a chance to see it. I'll start first. I enjoyed myself here at the It show. Did you have a good time?
I did.
What did you like about it?
Mainly that it was a kind of not a reboot, but a recreation or reimagining of the 1990 miniseries. I mean, we're not really going to talk about the book so much. I haven't read it in about 20 years, but most people who are seeing this for the first time remember watching it as children in the miniseries form, which was an absolute travesty of a movie. Tim Curry was the saving grace. Everything else was complete eye bleach. It was the most horrific adaptation of a Stephen King book I've ever seen, and I have seen Maximum Overdrive. So in that respect, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It wasn't perfect. It had its problems. It had its changes from the book, which I won't really get into in this video because it would involve spoilers and so forth.
Yeah.
But I think that as a movie itself, as a standalone, as a horror movie, and as a King adaptation, it did justice.
It's one of the better King adaptations I've seen. They usually are stinkers. Like, it wasn't like the goddamn Langoliers.
Yeah.
But the filmmaking was just good quality. Good sound, good action, everything kind of blended, the stories, the characters.
Yeah, and I was worried about this because I remember that the screenwriters originally kind of separated themselves from the project originally because of creative disputes with the studio. And then the two Muschietti siblings stepped in to direct.
Yeah.
And I thought that could, you know, the whole thing, too many cooks in the kitchen spoil the broth, or whatever you call it.
Too many dogs at the orgy, I think is how it goes.
So that also works. Yeah. So, but that seemed to be unfounded. It was a very faithful representation of the book.
So it was pretty faithful.
Well, I mean,
obviously every film takes some liberal
creative liberties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they left out a lot of stuff, which they had to, because you only have a running time of a little bit over 2 hours. You can't put everything in there. If you did put everything in there, you'd end up with like an 18-hour miniseries. So things had to be done. I understand that. But overall, it was a great experience.
So would you recommend people see it in a theater, wait for Netflix, or wait till it becomes available at the library?
I would say I'm usually about seeing things in theater, but my theater experience was not great. So I would probably say wait for Netflix, wait for home video.
Wait, you had a guy like fall on you at the theater?
No.
Or sleep on?
I go and see movies at a premium theater called the ArcLight. And I go there because they have screenings that are specifically for 21 and older. So I go there to avoid children because I don't like people screaming and talking and making a fuss during a movie.
You want your children on screen. Not in real life next to you.
And so I go to these things which are prohibited to children because it's 21 and over, and you can have alcoholic beverages there.
You can take your pants off.
Yes, well, yeah. But what happened to me was 20 minutes into the movie, I'm sitting there, and then these two guys, a man and a woman, stumble in and sit right next to me, which was great. Because not only were they talking as they walked in during the movie, but they had their cell phones on with their light blaring everywhere, and they were loud and obnoxious. And they continued to talk throughout the movie until it reached a point where the man passed out in my lap with his head and his arm laying across my knees.
Why didn't, can I just stop you there? Because you emailed me, though. And why didn't you push him off you? You allowed him to...
I didn't want to touch him. It was weird.
Yeah, no, that's an uncomfortable situation.
I was kind of shifting to the left, but there was nowhere to go, trying to get him to get off me. And the whole time he was on me, he was mumbling to himself, go out and die inward over and over and over.
Whoa.
And this was a white dude.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
So is he on drugs or drunk?
I don't know. He had an alcoholic beverage with him, so he's obviously drunk.
Yeah.
And then eventually he gets woken up, starts talking again, starts going back on his phone, so I'm missing most of the movie at that point, trying desperately to focus on what I paid to see. And then eventually he stumbles.
Sorry, my time.
Eventually he gets up, has to go to the bathroom, and goes to the stairs, at which point he face plants and rolls down the stairs to a loud boom. Everyone turns over and looks at him, and then his girlfriend steps up and goes over and tries to help him down the stairs, at which point he falls about 3 or 4 more times. So I'm, at this point, very thankful that he's gone because I don't want to deal with him anymore. But then 10 minutes later, his girlfriend comes back to get her purse from the seat. And she's also walking through the dark, interrupting people with her cell phone light on, trying to see things. And she ends up catching the glass mug that he was drinking beer out of, or whatever it was, out of there. in the cup holder, rips it out of the cup holder, glass shatters everywhere in the middle of the movie. So then the entire aisle becomes inaccessible from the right because it's just shards of glass everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone turns around and looks again, and she runs out in shame.
That's insane.
So yeah, see it on home video.
Okay, I have so many questions. I want to know more about that story. I could not imagine anybody touching me, like a stranger, especially a guy in that condition, and just taking it. That's just I don't know. I mean, I know it's a weird thing because what do? You're supposed to fight a guy all of a sudden. You're wrestling with a drunk guy.
I didn't want to draw attention to it because the one thing, my biggest pet peeve is when you go and you pay to see a movie, you're paying to be immersed in that movie. You're paying to be inside of it, to be absorbing as much of it as possible.
That's what the theater experience is supposed to do.
Yes, and if I were to engage him, I would have robbed other people of that experience, which happened anyway because he was doing it himself, and when he woke up, I was trying to prevent that, but it happened
You
anyway.
were being sacrificed on the altar of not disturbing other people. That's what's unfair to you as the innocent bystander who just has to have a... So how long was he on your lap?
It was only about like 5 minutes.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. I wouldn't tolerate 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not judging you for tolerating it. I realize it's just a nutty situation. Wow, what a crazy... That's one of the worst movie theater stories I've ever heard. All right, well, we're trying to keep this video kind of short. God, I want to ask.
So far, most of our review has been about my experience.
That's okay.
The
It's just a nutty. It's worth sharing. So, would you bring? What do you think? Would you recommend it for a couple on a date? Would you bring a date to it?
It depends on what kind of movies you like. I'm a horror movie person. One of the first movies I ever owned on VHS when I was 5 years old was I got
Tin
Cujo and I got Hellraiser.
Oh yeah.
So my mom has been a Stephen King fan her entire life. Therefore, I've been a Stephen King fan. Well, actually, not her entire life because he wasn't writing when she was born. But as long as he's been around, she's been a fan of him, and she kept all of his books on a shelf. So that was my reading material when I was a kid. When I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I was doing nothing but reading Stephen King books.
All right, right on. So
I'm a huge fan of him.
Big fan. Cujo Hellraiser crossover. Cujo with all the spikes in his head. Come on, Hollywood.
Yeah, well Hellraiser is not a Stephen King thing.
Who's the guy with the spikes in his head?
Pinhead.
Is that Hellraiser, though?
Well, Hellraiser is the name of the movie. They're the trilobites. Not trilobites, Cenobites.
Okay,
Cenobites.
All right.
Trilobite is an ancient...
Calm down, Wikipedia.
No, Trilobite
Same movie,
is a extinct creature.
Yeah, those cute. Yeah, those are the original pets. Speaking of pets, would you bring a pet to see it?
I think a pet would behave better than a drunk adult, so yes.
Yes, it would. Most pets are better behaved than drunk adults. All right. Oh, finally, and this is not a spoiler, you had some reservations, I think everybody did, about how would this new Pennywise be taken? How would they present this new Pennywise? Because everybody's comparing to the Tim Curry legend. Yeah. And what was your reaction to that?
The first time I saw a picture of the new Pennywise, I absolutely hated it. I was seeing this thing in a Victorian, almost dress-like costume that did not mimic what was the description in the book. The description in the book matched to Tim Curry's version of it, not to this particular one. But after I watched the movie, I was kind of okay with it. There's things I did not like. There are things in the story that didn't work for me with the clown. But overall, I think it was an unfounded hatred up front.
Okay, yeah, I actually was surprised how much I thought Pennywise was effective.
Yeah, it was completely different from Tim Curry.
Different, but very menacing. Like, they captured menace. They captured a sense of threat and scariness out of it. They updated it to have modern effects kind of thing. Like, it felt like it was made in our era of filmmaking, but it looked and felt scary. And just from the opening sequence, when you first were introduced, I was like, oh, they're not fucking around here with this Pennywise. This is actually pretty cool. I'm hoping to see more later in the movie, and I wasn't disappointed. Out of 10, what would you rate the movie?
I would probably give it a solid 7.5.
7.5. That's a big number. I'd say an 8. And by the way, yes, bring a date, okay? Because the best part about seeing scary movies is when you bring a girl to a date. When you get scared, you get to grab her elbow, and you get to lean into her, and you get to squeeze her arm, and then she has to slap you a little bit to tell you to quit hurting her elbow. That's why it's nice. That's why couples like to go see scary movies. Yeah. All right, so there you go, guys. See the movie. A 7.5 out of James, an 8 out of me. That averages out to a 7.75 for it. Final score. Most important review on the internet. Nobody else has better take than we do.
3 red noses out of 5.
3.5 red noses. Thanks for checking us out, guys. And look in the description or here at the end of the video, we'll have the long discussion that we're going to do. It's going to have a lot more insight. James has a lot of cool shit to say about this movie, so click on it now. before you do, like and subscribe and comment and tell your grandma and tell all your friends and stuff, and then we'll keep making more videos and stuff, James. Thanks a lot. Bye.